Hello, and welcome to the Moncast.
A podcast where we watch Pokemon and Digimon in tandem and discuss the similarities and differences that they share.
You didn't say there.
I know, I tried so hard.
My name is Stevie.
And my name is Sam.
And the score currently stands at 25-23 to Digimon. And this time we are watching episode 49, The Crest of Light and Bulbasaur's Mysterious Garden, which totally isn't a sex-ed video set in the world of Pokemon.
No Admon this time, but we are going to have a little brief discussion about Digimon World Next Order. It's going to be spoiler-free, but it's just our first impressions because we got it before, like, America and places, so... And I don't know about Stevie, but I've pumped in about 30 hours into the game already because I'm a trash monster.
You're a Numa sludge.
I'm not even joking, like, I think I played it for an hour earlier, and I think my save time was at, like, 35 hours.
And it's been out in, like, 4 days.
Yeah, I did have, like... 2 days off from work, not specifically for it. It was my days off that I have, but I only do it like once a year, maybe twice. No, whenever, like, I think the last time I did this was with Fallout 4 and to a lesser extent Monster Hunter. But I tend to, like, when a game comes out, I will play it for about 8 hours a day, maybe more if I really get into it. And then once I've got to a certain point, I'll just like whittle it down to like maybe an hour or two every day because I am a busy person, but I just do tend to block off a set amount of time to just live on this game.
And I've put in about 13 hours so far. I'm still in Chapter 1.
I'm still in Chapter 2.
It's going to take a long time to play it to completion.
I don't know how many chapters there are. So, what are your first impressions of it?
My first impressions are that it is good.
Okay. I need more elaboration than that.
It's exactly what I wanted from a spiritual successor to the first Digimon game, which is just more of the same but improved.
It definitely feels like they've looked at the first game and gone, what bits do we really enjoy about this? What bits can we improve? Because the first one, it's one of my favourite games, but you have to have a manual to play that thing. It's so difficult. Like, you know, like to get certain Digimon, you need to be at a certain place at a certain time for a certain amount of times in a row, or you've got to go and get this one specific item from one area, or you've got to go and fight something, get an item off them and bring it somewhere else to get an item to bring it to somewhere else. And it's like, that's a lot of work. It's a lot of legwork involved in that. So a guide basically makes it playable. And there are issues with that game. There are real issues. But they've seemed to have taken everything that needed to be improved with the last game and just basically improved it.
I'm really glad they've added this whole system where it slowly reveals stats for Digimon that can Digivolve into, so you don't need to look up requirements anymore.
That's fantastic. Because in the first one, you basically had to have a pen and paper and write down everything. Like, is this much in this and this much in this. And if you go off ever so slightly, you will basically become a Numamon.
Yeah, if you don't fulfill any requirements, then you just get the bad Digimon.
But at least in this, you get 4 options and you will evolve into the one that you filled the most requirements for. And normally there's one that's really hard to get to, like a really good one. There's one that, like, is easier to get to, but is still, like, kind of hard to get to. One that you'll basically have like entry level, and then there's one that, like, if you mess up it like enough, you'll probably get that one. They're not always bad though. Like, sometimes the lowest one is, like, for one evolution path, it's Wargramon Orange. So, like, you know, some of them, even if you mess up, you don't really mess up, which is good. It also helps with people who don't want to spend their entire time training and want to go out and fight. You know, they'll get the lower down ones, but they're not bad. But if you spend your entire time training and getting your stats up, you will get ones like Metal Greymon.
Are you saying that Metal Greymon's good?
I haven't got a Metal Greymon yet.
Is he hard to get?
Yeah, you need like 28,000 HP.
28,000?
Yep, and I can't get that yet.
It's a late game Digimon.
Yeah, basically. You can still get to War Greymon through different methods. I haven't had a War Greymon yet, though. I was planning to get one with my last evolution, but I ended up with Examon, who was still good, but, like, it's not a War Greymon.
One thing that I don't get that some people have been complaining about is the variety of Digimon, because it feels like there's a million more than there were in the first game.
The problem with Digimon is there's, 700 plus, and I think in this game there's, 200?
It's like 220 or something. somewhere around there.
And they have filled a lot of slots with, well, not a lot of slots, but there are things like, obviously, Growlmon Orange or Growlmon Orange. It's like, okay, well, we don't need the recolors, really. We just need different ones.
Yeah, it's a shame about the reskins, basically.
Geogreymon and Rise Greymon aren't in the game. Shine Greymon is. Not 100% sure how to get to him yet, but I'd like to. Like my favourite Digimon, but like there are some which aren't in the game, which is upsetting, but you know, you're going to have other Digimon that you like, so maybe play as those instead.
There was 61 Digimon in the original Digimon world.
And it only went up to Ultimate.
Yeah, so I think complaining that there's not enough Digimon when there's like 3 times more than the original game is a bit cheap. Or a bit whiny.
It's not really a spoiler, but it's a minor like technical spoiler. So, but what you can do is it blocks off evolution paths. So if you've got 4 Digimon and you can fulfill 3 of their requirements already, and you want to evolve into a certain one, you can block the other 2 off, which is super useful if you want to unlock new stages, which is something I really want to do. At some point, I kind of enjoy filling out essentially the Digidex or the Digi Encyclopedia. So,
Field guide.
Yeah, that's the one, field guide. So I'm going to enjoy that. It'll be nice.
Gotta Digivolve them all.
I also like having 2 Digimon. It's really good. One problem with the first game was you could have a Metal Greymon and then it would die when you're on the way to a new place to unlock things. And then you're basically useless until you get them back up to that level again. With this, you're always going to have one that's a higher level than the other, but the lower level one always gets bonus effects in training, which is quite good. And then you're always going to be able to have the one that's more powerful than the other, but that one can do the most of the fighting and the other one can still fight and hold its own, but it's always got the extra support, which I think is really good because it means you can get back into what you were doing a lot quicker.
Still, if one of them passes away, you get sent back to the city.
Yeah, which is annoying, but you know, it's not too far to run to get to new places.
The city where everything is super expensive. Training machine upgrades cost 10,000 each, and that's for the first level.
The second level's 50,000.
I think I spent like 2 consecutive days just fishing, because the fish are worth like at least 100 bits each. So I was just doing that all day to get money.
I've got a better lure now, so I can get high level ones, which is good. But I only got that today. What I've been doing is, if I've got a lot of time to play the game, I'll play it and just train and whatever, and then advance the story. But if I've got like an hour, I'll go and find Digimon that I haven't recruited yet, and then go and just try and do those things. But yeah, I managed to get Renamon and Seedramon today.
I don't know how to get Renamon. Renamon's just always like, I'm training.
You need to give Renamon a Digicarp.
Really?
Yeah, which you can get from like the bridge.
How are you supposed to work that out?
She says it to you.
No, she doesn't.
At some point she will.
All she's ever said to me is, I'm training, and if you have lots of types of food, it's more likely that they'll eat it, or someone will want it. That's all that she said.
What happens is, if you aren't far enough in the story, they'll say something like that, but when you get further enough in the story, they basically unlock their recruitment requirements.
Oh, that's a bit annoying.
It means you can't like rush and recruit everybody straight away. It forces you to play the story, which is good, because the story's okay.
Well, the story's basically just fulfilling objectives at the moment.
I mean, I really enjoyed it. I'm liking the game. Any problems with the game? Anything you would change?
The grass looks a bit rubbish. It's just like 2D. Also, some of the enemies in areas just are massively overpowered.
Yeah, from like one area, it's like you can easily defeat them. The next area, they will destroy you.
There's 2 red Vegemon that constantly kill me, so I can't really go past them without an autopilot to get back. One
problem that I have is there's no world map. So to find out where you need to go, it's just a case of guesswork and then just getting used to the path, which is okay. I mean, it adds a level of exploration.
Well, I like that. It's the same in the first game, really.
But I would like it so that if you did unlock a new area, you know, you can go and you can even go and purchase maps. So at least you have like a place so you can go and look at it and go, okay, I've been here, here, and here. Otherwise, it's just guesswork, really, which can be a bit annoying.
Or it's just keeping a mental map.
I can't do that.
Just keep track of like, okay, I've been down this way and there's nothing else to do. That's what you did in the first game. You just wandered around, stumbled across new places, and
I had a pen and paper and I was drawing. I was drawing out the map.
I wasn't. I was learning everything. I know that first game really well.
It's one of my favourites. It's good.
I could probably recruit everyone without having to consult a guide anymore.
Another good thing about this game is it plays on nostalgia with the music. The music's really good in this.
Yeah, the music's great.
It gets bonus points for having a good soundtrack, which we could download for free, which was nice.
Get it free from the Bamco VIP corner on the website. And then listen to 1 + 1 = 10 Digipower, because that is the best track.
I like the boss battle theme, because it's like a remake of the original, but with some added bits in it.
Yeah, lots of them are just next order versions of the original soundtrack, which is fair enough.
And one final thing, which is the dimensional box in Digimon's house. You can basically store your Digimon you've raised in VPET, and you can battle online with them, which is okay. But at one point, you get to a level which is like all the other ones at your rank are stronger than you, so you can't go any further unless you spend your... It's like you've got to kind of focus on that to get points.
I've not done any of the network battling yet.
When you get to people around your level in rank, it becomes really hard to win unless you spend a lot of time building up your Digimon to be really powerful specifically for that. But it's kind of cool. It's kind of fun. You can change the colours of the VPETs as well, which is nice.
Well, I suppose the best way to win that would be to raise your Digimon so that they have maximum stats. That would take an eternity, but it is possible with the whole inheritance thing. Anything
else you want to say about this game?
You can get a Patamon, and that is all that matters. I've not had a Patamon yet, but I want a Patamon.
Okay, which game do you prefer, Next Order or Sun and Moon?
Well, I've already played Next Order more than Sun and Moon, so probably Next Order.
I'm going to say Next Order because we've got so many Pokemon games already.
Yeah, like you get a new Pokemon game every year or two. This is the first Digimon World game in like 15 years.
It's changed at the formula, but it is essentially still... You go and fight gym leaders, but they're not called gym leaders. But yeah, like it's still the same sort of system. But with Digimon World, it's kind of it's like you said, we haven't had one of these in a while, and it's really fun.
It is. Pokemon Sun and Moon are fun as well, but I've just not played them yet. Not to the extent that I probably will when I actually sink time into them.
Cool. On to the episode. The first episode we're watching is Bulbasaur's Mysterious Garden.
Bulbasaur doesn't evolve, but does learn Solar Beam instead. So it starts off with them walking through a forest, doesn't it?
But it opens with Ash battling someone for once, which is quite nice because it rarely happens. They're either walking somewhere and they see the Pokemon. The only people they seem to battle is Team Rocket at the moment. Like they never battle random trainers or anything like that. It just seems to be, we're over here, here's a person with a Pokemon that can't do a thing, then there's Team Rocket, and then they did the thing. So it's nice to see Ash actually battling for a change. And he's battling a Rhyhorn, which is one of my favourite Pokemon, so wins points for that.
It's a bit boring and grey, really.
It's a good Pokemon. It's a sturdy physical fighter.
It's also grey. It's a good design, it's just a bit boring.
It's one of the first designs. Rhyhorn and Rhydon were some of the first Pokemon that got drew.
It's just a stone rhino.
So Bulbasaur gets beaten up by Rhyhorn, because apparently Rhyhorn's quite powerful, even though Bulbasaur is a grass type and should be able to win. Ash tries to recall Bulbasaur, but Bulbasaur's like, no, and refuses, and avoids the beam of the Pokeball. It then uses Razor Leaf and Vine Whip to completely destroy Rhyhorn, which is Ash didn't say to use those moves. Bulbasaur was reacting on its own accord, which is cool. So then the guy who owns Rhyhorn goes up to it, and it's super small. I'm pretty sure Rhyhorn's supposed to be a lot bigger than that.
I didn't notice anything.
For me, it's I imagine it was always the size of a small car, but like a mini. But it comes up to the guy's lower than the guy's midriff. He has to kneel down to talk to it.
That's a fine size. I mean, if it was the size of a small car, how big would Rhydon be?
Bigger.
It'd be like the size of a tree.
Yeah, but I'm talking a mini, not others.
A mini is still the size of a car.
Small car. That's why it's called a mini. But Ash is talking to the guy, saying how it was a great battle and stuff, and he just left Bulbasaur out there. He hasn't recalled him or anything.
Well, why would he?
Because the battle's over, and he go and congratulate the Pokemon who's suffering, instead of going and talking to the guy. But he looks at Bulbasaur, and Bulbasaur's in pain, and its bulb on its back starts to glow blue, which is a bit terrifying, because we've never seen that before.
It's not exactly scary.
Okay, it's not scary, but it's a bit concerning.
It's just oh, okay.
This is new. Does it normally do this? Is this a thing it does? So he takes it to a Pokemon Center and has it looked at, and it turns out that Bulbasaur is getting ready to evolve.
Just cause. But I really like this. Normally what we do is, say, with Charmeleon, we had a Charmander, it did a battle, and then it glowed white, and then evolved into Charmeleon out of nowhere. But at least with, Bulbasaur, we've got warning signs of it evolving. Oh, the warning sign is just glowing.
Yeah, that's still a warning sign, a literal warning sign.
They always glow before they evolve, apart from in the case of Caterpie, because Caterpie is the best, and it's actually special.
But even in the games, in the Pokedex entries, sometimes it tells you that, a Pokemon will, its skin will start to harden, or it'll shed its skin, or it'll go and burrow underground, or something before it evolves.
Or it'll gather round with lots of the same species and have some ridiculous festival where they all evolve at the same time but for no real reason.
But it's nice to see that reflected in the show, because the Pokedex entries do tend to say stuff like that, and it's kind of interesting. So Ash asks how long it'll take to evolve, and then for some reason Nurse Joy just goes and looks outside, and you can see all the flowers magically starting to bloom.
And then Nurse Joy explains that there's this festival of Bulbasaur or something, where the Bulbasaurs all gather around to evolve.
Once a year, all the Bulbasaur from all over the world migrate here to get ready to evolve. And apparently it has something to do with the alignment of the planets and the phases of the moon. I have two problems with this. The first one is... So what I take from this is that a Bulbasaur in Alola will have to migrate over to Kanto to evolve. I'd like to know how it gets there and when it starts to go, because it's not exactly a bird. It can't fly in one direction till it gets there. It's a short bulb frog. So how is it going to get over to a different continent, to this one specific garden?
It swims.
Also, like, another thing, this isn't a problem, I just thought of it on the top of my head, is if this is all the Bulbasaur in the world, how come there's about 30 of them?
Bulbasaur's dying out. That's the only explanation.
Either way, there's like 30 Bulbasaur there in the place we'll talk about in a minute. The second, how can you have something to do with the planets, since each planet moves around the sun at a different speed? Like, one Earth year is not the same as one Neptunian year. Like, the phases of the moon I could probably buy, but also not, because it's not like the phases of the moon happen once a year. It happens monthly.
Well, she says the time of year that it happens changes every year, so maybe that's what's affected by the planets. Because that's not stupid.
I don't buy that once a year all the planets align in such a way that it triggers evolution.
For this one species of Pokemon, that has nothing to do with the planets whatsoever.
I can imagine that it happens for all the Pokemon in the Kanto region, and it's that it gets to a part of the season, like spring, where the weather conditions are just right, that Bulbasaur will start to evolve. But I couldn't see it being a thing that happens from around the world because of planets.
I just can't see it being a thing. It's just dumb.
It's weird, and it doesn't really make sense.
It's not how evolution works, just for any Pokemon.
It could be natural evolution alongside battle-based evolution. Maybe some Pokemon just evolve like that.
Maybe some Pokemon just evolve by gathering around once a year when the planets align.
And just shouting their names at a tree.
They just instinctively know that it is time to evolve.
Well, birds instinctively know to migrate, and some animals instinctively hibernate, so maybe.
Yeah, but that's like an annual thing. It's not something that changes time of year every year to just a random time.
Like I said, it might just be weather conditions. So, Nurse Joy says that they go to a place called the Mysterious Garden. People have never seen it because it's so secret, and it's like a private part of Bulbasaur's lifestyle, of Bulbasaur's life cycle.
Quick question.
Yep.
How does she know it exists then?
Because it's in the script.
Did she just ask her Bulbasaur when it came back and was an Ivysaur, "Where have you been?"
Maybe someone's seen it a long time ago or something and they mentioned it.
They just mentioned it in passing. Just like, oh yeah, those Bulbasaurs. They all went off to this mysterious garden, like, right.
It's a mysterious place that humans aren't supposed to go, and it's like part of a Bulbasaur's natural life cycle.
That they've never seen.
Yeah, so naturally Ash wants to go and see it. It's a place where humans aren't really supposed to be because it's part of a natural life cycle. It's a delicate balance of the natural order. I want to go look at it. I want to go there. Ash is like that one tourist who goes to like places that have like sacred ground and just goes there and takes selfies again with like ancient statues, or like goes and stands on important monuments just to be like, I'm over here now, and you're like, stop it, this is really insensitive. But Bulbasaur hears all this and decides to leave in the night so that Ash can't follow him.
Well, that's because that's the time that this festival happens.
It's happening. It's going to happen.
It's weird that it happens at night when these plants rely on sunlight. It's almost like it's completely and utterly ridiculous and stupid.
It is kind of weird how like it's a nighttime thing, even though these Pokemon specifically are evolved to deal with sunlight. And as we learn later on, their most powerful attack is sunlight.
Got Pokedex entries here that saying exposure to sunlight adds to its strength. Although I suppose moonlight is technically sunlight.
But not direct sunlight. But Pikachu wakes up in the middle of the night as well and hears Bulbasaur leaving, so decides to go and follow Bulbasaur. And they have a conversation under the moon, and I was like, Stevie's going to love this. Don't you love how they have like a 20-second conversation that you can't understand?
Yeah, I love Poketalk. Poketalk's my favourite part of every episode.
It's the best bit, when it's just like 20 minutes of just two Pokemon saying their own name.
It's like if I just sat here and just went, Stevie, Stevie,
Sam,
Stevie,
Sam, Sam,
Stevie,
Sam.
Stevie.
Sam. It's not entertaining. So suddenly vines appear out of nowhere and start to drag Bulbasaur away, and it turns out it's a small group of Bulbasaur, which is weird. Like, why are the Bulbasaur looking at another Bulbasaur having a conversation and going, no, they need to come to the festival as well. Let's just drag them away. There's no need for that.
It's that time of year, Sam.
Where all the Bulbasaur go from all the land and drag all the other Bulbasaur along with them, because if they have to go to this stupid festival, you're going as well.
Why is it even called a festival?
I don't know.
There's no festivities.
So, as Bulbasaur's being taken away, it seems to be that Bulbasaur's shouting to Pikachu, because Pikachu's running to catch him, but the other Bulbasaur are using vines to try and knock Pikachu away, and it seems like Bulbasaur tells Pikachu to go and get Ash, but we can't tell because there's no subtitles.
I think that's what Bulbasaur said.
So Pikachu runs to tell Ash and wakes him up with an electric shock. Ash asks what's wrong, and Pikachu does a really good impression of Bulbasaur, which I thought was really cute. It cuts to Team Rocket, who are in a forest, and it does that thing where it starts with Team Rocket and Jessie does her laugh that she does. I like her laugh.
It's not iconic, though.
For me, it is. We've had this conversation, Stevie. They see Bulbasaur taking another Bulbasaur, and they're like, oh, look, some Bulbasaur. We should go and get them. And then the Bulbasaur just vine whip them into the sky and blast them off.
So that was a short episode with Team Rocket.
Yeah, they're there and then they're gone. For now, Ash and Co are getting close to Mysterious Garden because Pikachu can smell where Bulbasaur was. And then Team Rocket land there, but we don't see them again for a bit. So they didn't really blast off too far.
No, not far at all.
Ash and Co see a wall of vines that are appearing, and it's almost like it gets very Sleeping Beauty because the same thing happens in there where she walls off the place where Sleeping Beauty's asleep with like just this maze of giant thorny vines. It's the same thing. It just happens because this is what nature does when it calls lots of creatures to a festival. It sets up its own barriers. But Ash and Co managed to get in because, of course, they do. They're the main characters. They get to go everywhere.
Well, they are the main character and Co.
They are. And it's just a field with a tree in the middle of it. And there's lots of Bulbasaur, about 30 of them anyway. And they're just singing at a tree. By singing, they're saying their name.
Are they singing a Bulbaby?
Maybe they are. There's a giant tree in the middle of the garden, which is rapidly growing and blooming. And it's like, I think it's a cherry blossom tree or something. But, well, it doesn't even look like a cherry blossom because it's got a giant trunk. And then it's got like a short amount of leaves on the top. And then they're like, pink and they bloom. And then from inside the tree stomps a Venusaur, which is kind of cool because we've not really seen any of the starter Pokemon in the wild before.
I have questions about where this Venusaur came from, though.
Why?
Well, is there an Ivysaur festival?
Maybe that's at a different time of year.
It's ridiculous. We must all gather round and become Ivysaur, and then after that, who knows how you become Venusaur? It'll just happen. To one, and only one. Is this the only Venusaur, then?
Maybe it's the leader of the herd or something.
But this is every Bulbasaur.
Every Bulbasaur in the world.
Yeah.
That have all managed to migrate for months to get here.
I'm so confused.
I am also confused.
How can there be Ivysaur and Venusaur just not attending? It's a festival, you think they attend.
I think it's very rude of them to not attend.
All these Ivysaur from last year should have turned up. Or maybe they're all off at their own Ivysaur festival.
Where there's like a Mega Venusaur.
Yeah, exactly.
So Ash sees his Bulbasaur and then tries to shout out for it because he wants to ruin the entire event. Brock stops him and reminds him that they aren't meant to be there, and Misty says that she just be quiet and watch the festival happen, which I think was quite good because she's the only one that makes sound logic. She's like, we're not actually supposed to be here. Let's not disturb it in case it causes like massive problems. Like it stops them ever evolving mid-evolution and they're just like awful messes. And then there's like a couple of seconds of just Venusaur and Bulbasaur screaming their names at each other, which I know you absolutely loved.
So dumb.
And then their bulbs start glowing blue. Cuts to Team Rocket, who are outside of the great big vine wall, and they want to get in. They go at it with axes, but they get chased away by vines, which we didn't need to see. Like, it doesn't improve the story.
No, Team Rocket had to be there.
Okay, I believe you.
Because the pun game has just been on form this entire episode. Like, all three of them have a different tool and have a different pun for approaching these vines. It's amazing. Plus, every second that we don't have to watch this Bulbasaur festival with Ash and Co. is just much better.
But that's the episode. This is the episode. This is what we have to watch. You know, sod getting the rest of the badges and fighting the Elite Four. No. We've got to watch Bulbasaur not evolve.
This is on the way to a gym, though, apparently.
For ages.
They're actually on their way to a gym. The narrator has specifically said that they are going towards Cinnabar Gym.
They've always been on the way to the next gym.
No, they've not. There's been no mention of a gym for ages, and now this episode they're on the way to a gym.
Okay, so the Bulbasaur start turning into Ivysaur, and Ash is like, oh my god, I can't believe Bulbasaur's evolving into Ivysaur now. Yay, that's amazing. Let's look at my Bulbasaur, and it's there, like, not wanting to evolve.
Why does it not want to evolve?
It's pressing B to not evolve.
But why?
Because it wants to be a Bulbasaur. I don't know. I can't speak Bulbasaur.
But why?
I don't know. For plot reasons.
But why?
Because that's why the point of this episode is. Because Ash can't have too many strong Pokemon. Otherwise, he'll win all the time.
But why?
I don't know.
But why? I honestly just want to know why Bulbasaur doesn't want to evolve. It's never explicitly stated why it doesn't want to evolve. It just doesn't. For no reason.
Actually, they don't even say that Bulbasaur wants to be a Bulbasaur. It just doesn't want to evolve.
Just doesn't want to evolve.
They never ask Bulbasaur, or it's never explained.
Just, nah, don't fancy it. This evolving thing is not my cup of tea.
But there's a conversation between Venusaur and Bulbasaur, which I know you'll love. So Venusaur tries to use Vine Whip on Bulbasaur, and Ash jumps in the way, because that's what Ash does.
And he gets slapped on the shoulders.
Which is like, yeah, it's kind of nice. It's kind of nice to see Ash doesn't really love his Pokemon that much. He's happy to get sliced in half by vines. And he says that if Bulbasaur doesn't want to evolve, it shouldn't have to. And then says sorry to Bulbasaur. And like, he was so excited about it evolving that he didn't want to think about what Bulbasaur wanted. I'm like, okay, but maybe it's supposed to. Maybe if it doesn't evolve now, it'll just die in like the next week or so. Maybe that's how the life cycle of a Bulbasaur works. You don't know. Maybe it needs to evolve now, or it'll never evolve. We don't know this. But Ash is just like, no, if it doesn't want to evolve, it shouldn't have to. But maybe the Venusaur's like, actually, this is what it needs to do to live. Otherwise, it's going to be really bad for itself.
Well, it's Bulbasaur's choice.
It's Bulbasaur's choice, and Bulbasaur's allowed to live how Bulbasaur wants to live. And if it wants to live as a Bulbasaur, that's absolutely fine.
If it doesn't want to evolve for no reason, then that's fine. Stubborn piece of
Wow. Wow, that's mean. So Team Rocket fly over because, you know, a secret garden doesn't have anything over it. So Team Rocket fly over in their balloon, and Ash says the line that now they have to prepare for trouble right before they start the motto. And then they do the motto, and Misty's like, here we go, again. They're all just so done with Team Rocket now. They don't care for Team Rocket.
And then Meowth's just like, get on with it, come on. And James is like, but our fans have come to expect it. Which is absolutely true.
It is, yeah, and they are kind of good, pure, the best. So they whip out a giant Hoover, which sucks up all the Ivysaur, which I don't understand how that works, because that's not how wind works.
They've used the whole vacuum approach before. They used it at the water gym.
It's one of their basic inventions, is always just like a giant Hoover. Just suck them up. They suck up all the Ivysaur, not the Venusaur or Ash's Bulbasaur, because plot.
Venusaur is too big. Bulbasaur is too dumb. And Ash and Co are the main characters.
But they also add insult to injury by saying Ash's Bulbasaur is dumb.
Which is true. It is absolutely true.
Like, they just insult Ash's Bulbasaur. And then the sun starts to conveniently rise, and Bulbasaur starts to use Solar Beam, because it can now learn Solar Beam. And to do Solar Beam, it has to go... I can't do it. And then just fires a beam, which conveniently blasts Team Rocket off and also saves the Ivysaur at the same time, because that's how these episodes go. It's you use the one attack to just get rid of everything and save the day.
Well, there's usually a fight.
Normally, but this time there wasn't. The battle was at the start. We can't have too many battles in a Pokemon episode. Jeez. Calm down. Can't get everybody too excited, can we?
Just because I like actual interesting combat. I mean, Solar Beam did look cool, at least.
It was quite cool.
Shame he didn't, learn it after evolving. I mean, that would have made sense, actually.
So, Venusaur shakes Bulbasaur's hand/vine and says, just thanks for saving everybody who just came from around the world. I don't know these people, but, thanks for it, I guess. And then the vine wall goes down and everybody walks away with all the Ivysaur and the Venusaur all waving goodbye, because that's how all the episodes always end now. And then the episode just ends because they leave. They're done. They don't say, oh, Bulbasaur, how come you don't want to evolve? Or talk about how Bulbasaur's happy being who it is. No, it's just, oh, didn't get the evolution. Well, bye then. Not staying here anymore.
I'm just looking some stuff up as well. And Bulbasaur can't naturally learn Solar Beam.
Oh, but Ash's Bulbasaur can, because power of love.
It can only learn it through technical machines, which means that Ash has a hacked Bulbasaur.
He does.
Ivysaur can learn Solar Beam, though.
Yeah, maybe its parents were an Ivysaur that knew it, and it learned it that way.
Why didn't it use it before?
I don't know, because it's lazy.
This episode made me hate Bulbasaur.
Any more notes on this episode?
I like how the whole episode is about Ash not knowing anything. It's just him constantly going, what's going on?
I don't know what this is for or why, but here we go.
What's wrong with Bulbasaur? I don't know. He's evolving. Why? I don't know. There's a garden. What's going on? Why is Bulbasaur not evolving? I don't know. What moves that? I don't know.
What was your favourite thing?
Honestly, I think my favourite thing is probably the start of the episode when the narrator says that they're going to a gym, because I was so happy for that one split second before the episode then proceeded. It just wasn't that.
My favourite thing was that there's a Rhyhorn and that it's a battle at the start, but now I'm kind of like, I think my favourite thing might be that Bulbasaur learns Solar Beam, even though it's not supposed to. Ash basically hacks Bulbasaur through the power of friendship. Okay, so what were your overall thoughts of this?
Initially, I kind of liked it, but now thinking back on it, I don't, because it's so stupid, and it ruins Bulbasaur. Every time I see Bulbasaur now, I'm just like, you could have evolved. Why didn't you evolve?
In future episodes, if there's a fight where Bulbasaur loses, you're like, you wouldn't lose this if you were an Ivysaur.
I can get why Pikachu didn't want to evolve, because Pikachu was like, I want to beat this Raichu without evolving. But the Bulbasaur has no reason. It's just like, don't want to. That's it. I just don't fancy it.
Yeah, it was filler, and it was nice to learn a little bit more about Pokemon's natural life cycle, even if the ideas behind it are a little bit iffy.
It's not a natural life cycle, though. It's a load of made-up nonsense to fill an episode.
But I am kind of now I am bored of filler. I'm tired of it. I just want to get on with the actual plot now, because it's been a lot more episodes than I thought it would be. We're almost reaching 20 episodes since this last badge, so...
It's a lot of episodes.
Yeah, that's an entire arc of Digimon.
You could make this episode so much better just by actually evolving Bulbasaur. Because then it would be actual progress. I mean, learning Solar Beam is great and all, but he's still not evolved a Pokemon. I think only 2 of his Pokemon have evolved so far. That's Caterpie, went up to Butterfree, then left, and then Charmander up to Charizard, which he didn't earn. But he wouldn't have earned this evolution either if Bulbasaur just happened to evolve. Why does Ash suck so much?
Okay, we're going to talk about Digimon now because you're getting angry.
The second episode we are watching this time is The Crest of Light.
Kari doesn't evolve, but does learn Solar Beam instead.
Digimon, Digital Monsters, Digimon are the champions. Digimon, Digital Monsters, Digimon.
It starts out with Gatomon asking TK how long humans sleep for. And TK says it's anywhere between 8 hours to 8 years, give or take a minute or two. Is this true?
Maybe if you're in a coma.
I sleep for 5-6 hours a day, so I don't think that's how it works. So where did he get this idea? Oh, anywhere between 8 hours and 8 years, give or take a minute or so. Why would you say this to a Digimon who doesn't understand humans? They don't know you're joking, TK. Also, Gatomon's been in the human world with Kari. So, how could it not know this?
It's a cat.
But yeah, the episode starts with this bad joke, which sets it up in a bad way. I'm like, oh, no, I don't want this bad joke. Why would TK say this? It doesn't make sense for this child to be like that. Where would he get the idea from? When has he ever seen someone sleep for either 8 hours or 8 years, give or take a minute or two? It's not funny. It's a bad joke, and it should start with this.
Why are you so upset at this joke?
After the last episode where we had them blasted into a hole in the ground, and we don't know if they're going to survive or not, it just cuts to this. This is the next thing we see, which is just, oh, how long do kids sleep for? Oh, 8 hours or 8 years. A lie. She was asking a genuine question, TK. Why would you lie to them?
He's not really lying, just exaggerating.
A lot. Kari wakes up because a drop of water hits her head, and she's sleeping in what looks like a mound of dirt. They buried her a little bit.
She died.
Yeah, they just full on, buried half of her body in dirt.
Just in case. Just in case you didn't make it, you might as well get half the job done.
But she immediately wakes up from being, blasted into unconsciousness, and she says, hit the snooze button one more time, please. Another dumb joke. It's like, she's really sick. Why would she say this stuff?
I'd expect her to say something like,
Yeah, no, instead it's like she's fully awake and it's like, hit the sleep button one more time, please. It's like, no, Kari, why? Stop this. TK's saying a bad joke. Now Kari's saying a bad joke.
You've just woken up from being unconscious for several hours.
Yeah, and then she asks how long she was asleep for, and Gatomon says when she fell asleep she had 9 lives, but now she's down to 3. So all of them are just saying bad jokes at each other. All 3 of them have, like, important questions to ask and information they need, and instead of giving each other the actual answers, they're just saying bad jokes at each other. So I'm already not happy with this episode because it started in a really bad way.
I was excited at the prospect of an episode focusing on TK and Kari.
They're just, like, full-on firing jokes at us thick and fast in this episode. So yeah, Patamon, Beermon and Sora turn up and explain how they all got blasted down into this undercity place.
Under the city.
Also, Sora has the bottle of medicine that Tai went to get for her, even though Kari's better now, so the entire mission to get her medicine was, like, for nothing. But she should keep it as a reminder of how much her brother cares for her. Ah, that's so sweet and lovely.
I'm sure she'll treasure that medicine bottle forever.
Yeah, or we'll never see it again, you know. But then they're wandering around looking for everybody else, but they hear something and they go and they find lots of Numamon being whipped by a Warmonzamon.
I think it's actually a bit of foreshadowing here.
It is?
It's complicated. Sora says basically like to stop and listen, which is exactly what she said in the episode with Andromon earlier in the series. And later in this episode, Andromon turns up.
Ooh, that's cool.
It's really subtle foreshadowing, or just coincidence that Sora happened to say like, hey, can you hear that? Or whatever it was.
Still, it's good. But yeah, they see Warmonzamon whipping the Numamon, and Warmonzamon goes on like a long, just says to everybody how they're being forced to power the city above. And like, it's okay, but like, Warmonzamon knows that, and Numamon knows that, so why is he saying it to them?
Because exposition.
Because they need to just give us some explanation of why they're there. I'm whipping you because you need to power the city above.
I am the bad guy.
I'm keeping you prisoner here to fuel the city above. I am a bad person and deserve to be beaten by some sort of children. It's like, we don't need this much stuff. We can just tell that he's evil. We don't need to know why they're down there or what they're doing it for. We just know that there was some Numamon being abused to power something or to spin some things.
I don't know, maybe just said, like, get back to work while he's whipping them or something.
Get back to work, this city won't power itself. But Kari gets upset because there are some Numamon being abused, so she glows white.
Yeah, Kari's just like, oh no, people that aren't me are hurting. This makes me sad.
I'm the only one who's allowed to suffer, so she uses Solar Beam, and then Warmonzamon sees it.
Warmonzamon's amazing. He just jumps up after them and goes straight through the wall.
But the Numamon see Kari glowing, and they start chanting Kari's name, like calling her Queen Kari. And Kari speaks in like an older person's voice, saying that she needs to free the Numamon. And Beermon and Patamon try to evolve, but fails both times because they haven't got enough energy.
Just like, oh, okay.
Oh, I guess we're not doing this anymore because the plot demands that we don't. Even though, you know, they've had no problem for the last like entire time since they've first evolved, really. Warmonzamon tries to attack them, but gets its paw stuck in a wall because they need to run away, so they run away from it. Kari's in the room with all the Numamon, which are now just conveniently free because it took seconds to free all the Numamon, who are calling her Queen Kari still. TK and Sora run into the room and like land on all the Numamon and hear them calling her Queen Kari, which is weird, by the way. Like, how do they know who Kari is and why are they calling her Queen Kari?
And why is she so happy about being Queen of the Numamon? She has the biggest smile on her face.
Warmonzamon appears and threatens the Numamon, who start to attack it. Kari glows again and blasts Warmonzamon back with the light, and everybody has the power to evolve suddenly. So everybody all evolve now, and Hey Digimon starts playing, so we know that essentially the fight is over. The good guys have won now.
We had a good streak of episodes without Hey Digimon turning up.
Yeah. But then we get Hey Digimon and we get lots of stock footage of all the attacks as they boot Warmonzamon away. Kari says her light will guide them towards the others, which is a thing. So Warmonzamon isn't destroyed, but has basically gone, oh, okay, they blasted me, I better leave now. And goes and talks to Machinedramon on a screen and basically says the same thing, which is, yeah, they blasted me, so I left. But, you know, lol, soz. And then the room explodes because Machinedramon's blown it up somehow.
Magic. And Warmonzamon is totally not dead.
Yeah, because you see Warmonzamon's paw as it's like deleting itself, and Warmonzamon says, he shot my paw, which he clearly didn't because you're dead, because you can't just like take a limb off a Digimon, it dissolve, and then be absolutely fine.
I mean, Machinedramon doesn't really have the capacity for small lasers.
Yeah, no, subtlety isn't a thing that Machinedramon can do. Machinedramon can level a city, but can't like, you know, snipe a single person. I mean, granted, if you wanted Machinedramon to kill a single person in a tower, it'll do it, but it'll kill everybody in the tower at the same time, and also the tower, and also the mountains behind the tower.
Yeah, he's not going to be able to just remove a paw. It's quite clearly just the dub going, no, he's not dead. There isn't murder in the show, kids.
Yeah, no, everybody's fine. They all have tea after.
He shot my paw.
Cuts to Ty and Izzy after this. They're looking for everybody else, and everyone's tired, and Izzy says that they should all rest, and Ty says that they need to keep going, and Izzy's like, oh, that's fine, we should just let our Digimon die then. And then he says, oh, sorry guys, it's a figure of speech. I'm like, no, it's not.
Is that not a saying that you use?
Maybe like millennials nowadays who just say things like, just kill me now, and like, oh, just the sweet embrace of death. But not back in those days.
Just like, oh, I'm so tired, I could just die. So then Ty just flips out at Izzy.
And then he punches Izzy.
But he doesn't. It's pretend.
No, it's all pretend punching. But he hears a Digimon approaching, so they stop. And they're like, oh, we should just pretend that we're still fighting and then go and hide. And say, okay, but or you could just probably just immediately go and hide. So they hide in like a little nook, and then they decide that all their Digimon should evolve because they're in a tiny nook with a fence blocking the exit, so they just get pressed up against the fence until they squeeze out like chunks.
Oh, that's the lovely image.
Yeah, well, yeah, what else are they going to do? Because they try and evolve. And luckily they don't evolve because they would have just immediately killed Ty and Izzy and essentially each other.
They do Digivolve. They Digivolve into Kabu Nevermind and Greymon, 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 yeah, Greymon.
I love those bits. But then, since they don't evolve, Ty says that Izzy should hit him for some reason because they still want to have this thing happen. And Izzy's like, no, I don't want to do that. But
I think what's going on here is that the dub writers can't keep track of whether the first punch was real or not.
But Izzy says he doesn't want to hit Ty, and then Agumon and Tenderman both are like, I'll do it. Yeah, I want to hit as well. Oh, so they just clearly don't like Ty.
Digimon are just bred for violence.
I'll happily do it. Can I do it? I want to do it. I also want to do it as well. Just out of nowhere, like, Patamon appears. I'll do it as well. Devimon and Etamon all appear. Yeah, we'll get involved as well. Take it in turns just beating up Ty.
That's not what happens.
No, it's not what happens. Andromon appears, actually.
It was foreshadowed. I'm telling you, it was foreshadowed.
Andromon talks to the kids, saying that he's putting together an army. And he also calls Kari Queen Kari.
Well, he's heard about Queen Kari.
You mean Queen Kari?
She's your sister.
At no point does Ty go, where did you get the term Queen Kari from? Please tell me now, I need this information.
What is she queen of?
Machinedramon gets bored of the plot being slow and just bursts through a wall and goes to attack the kids and everybody, but Andromon runs and defends them.
Andromon's story keeps going.
Oh, how he's trying to build an army because...
Yeah, and he also says, and while I'm here, I'm going to fix that drip, because there's been a drip and a puddle, and that made me laugh so much. It's one of those jokes that you'd get in, like, spoofs of things. It was hilarious. Plus, also, in his flashbacks, it looks an awful lot like a Terminator film. He is just a Terminator. He is here to save mankind from Machinedramon.
But yeah, so Kari and the others are all like on the floor above, so when Machinedramon bursts in through the wall, it also collapses the ceiling, and they all just float down casually.
With the flying Digimon.
So there's more stock footage of the Digimon just attacking Machinedramon, and Machinedramon just manages to wipe them all out.
Machinedramon's just incredibly tough.
Yeah, it is, except when, Kari decides, oh, it's defeated everybody, I'm just going to walk towards Machinedramon for no reason, really angry-faced. And then the Numamon appear because they don't want Kari to get hurt, and they go and fight Machinedramon, who immediately wipes them out because why wouldn't they?
They are sludge.
And then Kari collapses because she's so upset that the Numamon got destroyed. So basically what happened is Kari goes, I'm going to sacrifice myself, and then the other Digimon go, no, I'll do it instead. And Kari said, no, I was the one who was supposed to do it.
No.
No. Please, no, don't hurt anybody else. Hurt me, because I'm the tiny child. I have the crest of suffering. So yeah, all the Numamon got killed, and Kari collapses, and Agumon's like, oh, suddenly I can just evolve now, because plot. And evolves into War Greymon. And this is where the episode runs out of time and budget, so they just have War Greymon run at Machinedramon and run past, because that's the fight. That's the entire fight.
But War Greymon makes some great sounds. Sounds like he's drunk as he's running up to Machinedramon.
It does that thing they do in a lot of movies where they have the two, like the hero and the villain, run at each other and then they slice and then they both stand there and wait to see who took what damage.
Did Machinedramon slice?
Koromon got a cut on his head.
Somehow, even though that makes no sense.
Where did War Greymon get cut for that cut to end up on Koromon's head?
I don't even think injuries pass down through Digivolutions.
No. Oh well. everybody's talking for a few seconds and Machine Drumon's like, okay, now I'm going to kill everybody, and then starts to slide apart.
Not before Koromon's just like, no way, because I sliced you like something that you sliced that I've forgotten the pun of.
Yeah, just basically he was like, yeah, slicey pun, and then he just slides away and just dissolves.
No more Machine Dramon.
Yep, which is really sad. And then Machine Drumon's zone starts disintegrating and all the kids are just like flying now.
Run away!
Which begs the question, just fly up to the top. Why can't they fly to the top?
It's a long flight.
Then to make pit stops. It's better than just walking up there. Any more notes on this episode?
Okay. I think I've only really got bad things.
Okay.
It's really bad how they built up Machine Dramon so well just for him to be taken down with one attack. He looked really cool just walking through the ceiling and easily defeating all of the other Digimon. He was awesome! And then they just go, whoop, you're dead.
One of my problems is, like, I think Machine Drumon's my favourite Dark Master because it's just really cool and it's powerful and it has an army that it uses tactfully. Like, if you look at the last episode where he was sending them all out and doing that stuff, for this to be just one slice and done, it's kind of a letdown.
It's just really anticlimactic.
Anything else or favourite things?
I've got lots of complaints about Kari.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, I feel like 90% of the time, Kari is either unconscious, sick, or possessed by someone who is not Kari. So most of the time, Kari just isn't even a character. Kari has no character. We probably know more about the thing that possesses Kari than we know about Kari. She's not good. There was all this build-up about, we need the 8th child, but they didn't need the 8th child, they needed this weird possession thing. And Kari's just there as the vessel for it. And Machine Dramon was beaten by the possession thing. The kids didn't really do anything, it was just this weird divine force that gave them the power to defeat it.
Yeah, that's it felt like a cop-out.
And being Queen of Numemon is weird, and she doesn't like that. And she needs to stop being unconscious all the time.
It's collapsing and putting herself in immediate danger just so that other people can die for her.
Yeah, she just seems to... She has to be unconscious to actually help, because that's how she shares this power, which is not good for character development. Oh, and one final thing. I still really dislike it when Birdramon talks.
Why?
Because it's weird. In the first episode Birdramon turns up in, she says nothing. It's all just bird sounds. And then they just decided, nah, we'll make Birdramon talk. And it's weird. And I don't like it. She's supposed to be a screechy flame bird.
She still has to talk. All Digimon talk, basically.
But then why didn't she in the first episode where she turned up?
Because plot, they didn't know how important she was.
She's a Digivolution. She's going to turn up all the time.
I don't know. You're asking me developer things, and I don't know. What was your favourite thing?
Andromon. I like Andromon a lot. Andromon's really cool. And I also really like the fact that Izzy says that Andromon's sacrificing himself, but then Andromon survives.
Oh, yeah. So Izzy's like, yeah, I'm just going to assume that he's going to die anyway. Oh, no, he sacrificed himself so we can get away. No, I'm still okay. Oh, no, he's gone. He's dead. No, I'm fine. I'm still fine. I'm over here. I could use a hand, though.
If we don't go now, he would have died in vain. I'm still here.
I can still make it if you just come in and help me, please.
I'm also looking forward to seeing this army that is nowhere to be found.
I'll talk about that in overall thoughts, but I've got some stuff I want to talk about with that. My favourite thing was like that bit where Agumon and Tentomon fail to evolve because it's just kind of cute. Just because of Kabu Nevermind and Agumon being Greymon, even though he isn't Greymon.
I'm Greymon, yeah!
Bless him, he's just so hype for a fight. Overall thoughts?
I said that it was a very okay episode, which I think means it's like not quite good. It's positive, but it's not good.
It's enjoyable. I did enjoy it, but I feel like it comes with its own list of problems. Like, Machine John's arc is 2 episodes, and I do feel like it should be stretched out a bit more. Give us more time with Andromon and talking, and maybe even show us the army that he's raising.
It would be better if they had Andromon's army against Machine Dramon's army and had a whole big battle there.
Actually, yeah, that would be quite good as well. But just to have, like, just essentially some Numemon flap at him and then have Wargreymon do the attack, it's a bit upsetting. Like, it just didn't really feel like enough. And the whole War Monzamon bit was so not needed as well.
I liked War Monzamon.
Yeah, it's cool. Like, I like War Monzamon because it's like an evil version of Monzamon, which is nice. I like seeing like these reflective versions of things. But he only exists basically to give us Numemon and like for Kari to use Solar Beam on basically. And I do wish it was 2 episodes because there's a lot in this episode jammed in together and it gave us so little Machine Dramon time. And like, we're supposed to feel sorry for the Numemon getting killed, but we literally met them in the middle of this episode.
And I'm pretty certain all that they said was Queen Kari. They were just mindless slaves.
So yeah, maybe give us more time. Like, give us more time with Kari and the Numamon so we can at least get some level of emotional connection to them instead of just having them killed in the same episode.
Yeah, it was all very blasé about saving the Numamon.
It was busy and it felt short. They could have done more with it.
It was just filled too much with not Kari, with Kari's alter ego.
With Kari's solar beam. Now it's time for Mono a Mono, where we'll talk about the similarities and differences in these episodes.
So, let's start with our monsters of the week. Mine's anyone other than Bulbasaur.
Okay, that's a lot of things.
Okay, I'm going to say none of them.
Mine's Warmonzomon, because it's quite a cool enemy, because it's something they've met before, but they haven't. It's like a polar opposite of Monzomon, which is the Digimon, that one of the first ones that they helped. It turned out to be really nice. And they had a good time because it attacks with hearts and hugs. And at the end of the episode, when they got rid of the black gear, it ended up playing with them. It put them in the hearts and they were floating around and having a good time. That's the last time I saw a Monzomon. But now to see this one, which is all ragged looking and evil and it's abusive towards some other Digimon, it's really cool to see this evil version of something that they saw and had a good time with.
That's a good reason. I still don't have a monster of the week. I'm trying to think of all the Pokemon and it's just okay, Pikachu. I'll go with Pikachu.
Because of Pikachu's impression of Bulbasaur?
No, just because Pikachu's always the best.
Pikachu was the best Bulbasaur.
Pikachu should have evolved. That would have made my day if just, instead of Bulbasaur evolving, Pikachu did into Raichu.
Which one had the best storyline?
Digimon.
Yeah, same here.
It made sense.
I mean, it was busy and too much happened in one episode, but it wasn't filler. And as I've said, I'm getting so sick of filler now. I need plot progression. Pokemon's just chasing its own tail and it needs to advance further.
Pokemon has characters literally insisting on not improving. The line in the song is, I want to be the very best. And then you have Bulbasaur just no, I don't want to do that.
Any similarities?
Bright lights.
It's glowing things.
And there are also charging monsters.
Charging monsters.
Rhyhorn charged and Machinedramon charged.
I've got that both episodes kind of have large groups of monsters all under the command of a larger monster.
Oh, that's an interesting one.
The Venusaur is basically telling the Bulbasaur what to do, and the Warmonzomon is basically controlling the Numamon to spin those cranks to power the city. And I couldn't think of anything else because the plots are so different and they're both at different levels of story.
We have no plot versus Digimon.
Differences?
Pokemon focuses on Bulbasaur. Digimon focuses on Kari. So Digimon focuses on a character, and they sort of are the thing that the episode revolves around. Because Kari basically controls almost everything that happens. It plays a part in almost all of it.
You could say that's a similarity then, if both episodes are just focusing on one specific thing.
One's focusing on a character, one's focusing on a species.
Well, to escalate from that, or to take from that a little bit, my one difference that I've got is that Pokemon is focusing on a single Pokemon, which is Bulbasaur. Whilst Digimon is focusing on a lot of teamwork, so it's got all the kids working together with their Digimon. It's got Numamon all working together, starting out oppressed but ended up revolting, even though they ended up dying. We've got Angemon building an army, even though we don't see it. We've got him building a team. So whilst Pokemon's basically just, here's this one Mon, look at this one today. Digimon's look at all the teams that we've got and all the people working together to defeat the things. We never see what happens to Machinedramon's army, and I would absolutely love to see that, because for all intents and purposes, they're just gone. They disappeared when the world disappeared.
I've got another similarity.
Is it both things being ill or unwell?
No. It's with both of them just having made up nonsense that have no real explanation.
Oh, you mean the season thing and then the Kari glowing?
Yeah, just there is no explanation for Kari being possessed, and there is no explanation for this festival of Bulbasaurs.
Which episode did you enjoy the most? And which gets the point?
Pokemon.
Okay.
I don't know why. That's what I'm saying.
I'm saying Digimon because, Pokemon's losing points. I'm actively saying no to Pokemon getting points because it's filler. I can't give Pokemon filler because it's not helping the plot. I think if we put these Pokemon episodes up against earlier Digimon episodes, then maybe the Pokemon ones would be winning, but it's just because there's so much happening in Digimon at the moment, and we're at the 11th hour, and they've got all of these things to fight, and they're building up these armies, and they're trying, and they've got one more thing to defeat to save the world, and Pokemon are it's bulbs glowing.
Yeah, but the question isn't which one isn't filler. The question is which ones will we enjoy. And despite all of the issues that both of the episodes had, I liked Pokemon more. I really enjoyed it. Team Rocket were great in the episode.
Okay, actually, yeah, I even the first start of the episode, Digimon bothered me more.
I mean, Digimon just kind of happened, I guess. It was just lots of Kari glowing, just like, ooh, I know the way to everyone else now.
Okay, I'm going to agree. I think Pokemon should get the point, because at least it had some funny bits, and it wasn't just, I'm going to get angry at a Machine Dramon and then Numamon die, because that's what I do.
Digimon did have some funny moments as well. I'm really torn between the two, because they're both bad in many ways.
So I'm trying to rush this because I'm absolutely starving and I need to go and eat food.
Okay.
So, what is the score?
I don't know. Have we settled on one yet?
Pokemon. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, Pokemon.
We're settled on Pokemon.
Because Digimon was kind of like, a lot of stuff happened and it should have been a bit longer, but Pokemon at least had funny moments. Like, Team Rocket were genuinely funny.
Yeah, Digimon had lots of wasted potential. So yeah, Pokemon gets the point, we decided.
So the score is
25-24 to Digimon. I hate both these episodes in different ways.
They were both pretty bad.
Well, hate is a strong word. I dislike them for different reasons.
We had problems with these episodes.
I did enjoy watching Pokemon, it's just looking back on it, it's so dumb as well. Join us again next time where we will be watching episode 50.
The Case of the Canine Capers and Joe's Battle.
You can listen to more of us on SoundCloud, iTunes or Stitcher, where we like getting reviews and comments.
And you can message us via our Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, with the War Thread and email, which are all linked in the show notes.
And there is my Patreon as well, which will be in the show notes. Thank you for listening.
Bye.
Bye. Butterfree, Primeape, almost Pikachu.
I don't know how many chapters there are.
There's 2.
Okay, so, what, are there a 2?
No, I'm joking.
Oh, I was going to say.
If there's only 2 chapters, that would be a bit...
If there were 2 chapters, why
odd.
even introduce the chapter system?
How many chapters do you need for it to be worth having chapters?
Maybe 3, 4, 5. A sizable amount, anyway. It's not like chapter 1, then chapter 2.
More than 2.
Actually, if you've ever, if you watch, I think it's called The Graham Norton Show. I can't remember, but Jennifer Lawrence is on it with Chris Pratt. They're promoting the film they're in, the space film. And she talks about when she was filming The Hunger Games and they were in Hawaii. And there were some sacred stones there that the people who live there find, like, they have importance to them. And she says how she was scratching her butt on them. Because they were like, she was like sat on them and scratching her butt, and she just lodges one and it almost hits the sound guy. And you can see Chris Pratt getting angry because he was like, when he was homeless and stuff, he lived in Hawaii for a couple of years, but he's like balling his fist because he's so angry at her here saying this. That's who Ash is. Ash is Jennifer Lawrence.
That is a long story that will be put into the outtakes.
Fine, that's fine. I'm okay with that. But you know, it's worth googling if you just Google Jennifer Lawrence, Chris Pratt, Graham Norton show. You can just hear her talk about how she sat on some important stones in Hawaii and dislodged one of them because she had an itchy butt.
And then Chris Pratt almost punched her in the face, apparently.
He gets, well, you can see him like getting angry at her and like he's full on like balling his fist because like, why is this person doing this? And the way she talks about it. The way she talks about it as well is so nonchalant. She's like, oh, they're just these stones that are here and, you know, you're not supposed to touch them. But I went on them because I'm a celebrity and I can do what I want. You don't understand. I don't follow other people's rules because I'm me. That's Ash. That's basically Ash. He's like, it's a thing that, like, people shouldn't go to because it's part of a Bulbasaur thing. But I'm going to go there because I want to go and look at it and, like, shout at the Bulbasaur.
What did you like about this episode? We don't do that format anymore. Do you remember we just used to list things that we liked? And the episodes only took like half an hour.
Yeah. And people were like, we don't know the plot. We haven't watched this episode, so you should tell us what's happening.
I can't remember when we started actually talking about the plot.
I think it just happened naturally over time because we had more things that we enjoyed about them and we ended up talking about bits of plot and essentially it just grew from there. Please, no, don't hurt anybody else. Hurt me, because I'm the tiny child. I have the crest of suffering.
Why is she so sophisticated now?
Because she's just, I don't know.
Because she's the queen.
Stop it, Numamon, stop. No.
No. Why is she Hermione Granger now?
Machine Dramon's like, I'll kill you all. And Kari's like, no, stop, kill me.
What
and the Numamon's like,
happened
no,
to you?
kill me. and then Kari's like, no, and then collapses because she wanted to be the one that got destroyed. Kari's the one with the death wish. She's just like, any opportunity, she wants to just die immediately.
You made me want to die.
I'm sorry I had to do that.
So
It
many
was in my head.
impressions.
It happened and I don't know why. I'm sorry,
Oh my
not sorry.
God.